Hello, Jordan.
Michael, it is the second week of the sale for the Online Fitness Business Mentorship. If you want to join an online fitness community to help you build your online fitness business, to help you reach and help more people all over the world, to help you become a better coach, to help you learn how to communicate with your clients better, to help you develop organized systems so you can build an online fitness business that improves your life, your family's life, your community's life, and allows you to work from wherever you'd like, now is the time to do it because this is the least expensive it will ever be. You have $500 off the joining fee right now. It will never be this cost ever again. It will only go up from here. That's it. So if you want to join, link in the show notes.
Fitnessbusinessmentorship.com. Apply on the homepage. This sale will not last long. That's all. That's all we're going to say for that. We're diving straight into Q&A.
Coming off a banger last week.
Big time episode. Big time episode. Last week, I don't know if you listened, but we talked a lot about how to become a personal trainer. It was
just all business.
It was all business. There was some coaching in there too. We talked about a lot of
None of that. It was all politics. But this week, probably no politics.
Never say never. Let's fire up that Q&A box.
All right, let's look it up.
We're diving straight in.
All right, this is from Jackie. Jackie's awesome. She's a longtime supporter. She said, how do you guys talk to / help clients who aren't doing anything? I have a client that we've had many conversations about their workouts, why it's important to them, simplified their workout program and nutrition, follow up on conversations, and they still aren't going to the gym. I want to help them get over this hump because their health is very important to them. They admit to me that they know it's important, but for some reason they can't follow through. How do you help a client like this?
It's very difficult. I think step one, and it sounds like Jackie's already doing a good job of this, but I know many other coaches who could use this advice, is you need to reduce the bar for success. It's so discouraging not being able to execute on a plan. And when that plan is too difficult, when a plan isn't meeting a client with where they are currently at in their life, with their schedule, with their level of self-efficacy, trying to have someone do a 4-day-a-week, 45 to 60-minute lifting program in a calorie deficit, hitting a certain number of steps. Some people aren't ready for that. And so reducing the bar to, it might be like a low daily step count. It could be a pretty wide calorie range, like a small deficit, a 500 calorie range. Let's say we assume someone's maintenance is 2,800 calories. Maybe we have them anywhere between 2,100 and 2,600 calories daily. Reducing the amount of effort and total work so that they can start to feel good about the fact that they are adherent to the plan. And once you start building momentum, weeks turn into months, and you can begin adding more difficult components to the program, whether that be increase the number of steps they're taking, whether that be start strength training 30 minutes twice a week. But that's a good step one for a lot of clients.
Yeah, completely agree. One thing I'll say here, one thing I've had a lot of success with is giving them a challenge. And for some reason, there's something about a challenge that people just naturally gravitate towards. And we even see this with people who they're like, hey, you know what? I want to stop drinking alcohol or reduce my alcohol. And instead of taking a slow and steady approach, they'll be like, I'm going to do a 30-day challenge. And I've seen actually a huge number of people who do I'm not going to drink alcohol for 30 days. And then they literally never drink alcohol again. Mm-hmm. I've seen that happen a lot, where it just starts off with a challenge. Let me just see. And then all of a sudden after 30 days, they're like, I feel way better. I don't need it anymore. Now, obviously that's not 100% of people, but if it doesn't lead to that cold turkey change of just nothing, often it will lead to just some level of improved habits. So what I do, especially with a client who's really struggling, a 30-day challenge can seem like a lot. Like a 30 days, Here's a sobering fact. Most people never stick to a program for 30 days. 30 days is a lot for some people. Especially, I'd say 30 days is a lot for anybody if it's doing something that you don't like, right? Like, so not everyone is going to like fitness. So often I would start with a 24-hour challenge. If I have someone who is like literally never hitting their calories, or for example, I've been like, hey, can you do me a favor and send me pictures of what you eat for 3 days or 7 days, and they don't send me anything even for a whole day, I'm just like, hey, let's do a 24-hour challenge and nothing else changes. I'm like, for 24 hours, send me a picture of everything you eat. That's it. And now all of a sudden, because there's an end date and there's a timeline, they can see the light at the end of the tunnel and it's very brief, they do it. And all of a sudden now I have more information than I got over the last 6 fucking months. And so, or I could do like, all right, we're going to do a 72-hour steps challenge. For the next 3 days, you get 5,000 steps a day. That's it. Just for 3 days. And all of a sudden they start being like, okay, you know what? It's only 3 days. And instead of sitting here on the couch for the next 2 hours, I'm going to just get up. I'm going to get some steps in because it's only 3 days. And now all of a sudden they say, oh, that's all I have to do. I just have to get the fuck up and move a little bit for the, like, now they can start implementing that into their day-to-day life. The key here is not overwhelming them with, all right, it's not going to be a 30-day challenge, and it's also not going to be a let's count your calories and your protein and your carbs and your fats and get your strength workouts in and get your cardio in and get your sleep and get your. It's not everything. It's just 1 or 2 things at most for a brief period of time. The lowest hanging fruit that has the biggest impact on them, so they can start implementing those habits into their day-to-day life. These challenges I found have been wonderful for the people who really, really, really struggle just to do anything. I would give that a shot.
Yeah, that's a great point. Challenges create excitement, which can really work.
Which, for whatever it's worth, that's why we have challenges in the mentorship. That's literally how we structure our monthly programming, in which every month we have a new challenge. And in the same way, in every month you send your clients a new workout program, give or take every month we have a new challenge. Sometimes it's a social media challenge. Sometimes it's a long form or short form challenge. Sometimes it's an email list challenge. Sometimes it's a creating videos for your client exercise database challenge. There are many different challenges we have, but that's one of the main reasons we do it, because a lot of coaches, they know what to do, but they're just not spending the time, or they don't have the accountability to do what they need to do to actually build their online business in an effective way. So if you want to have that accountability, and if you want to have our challenges for you to help your business, link is in the show notes, and it's a sale week. It's a sale. Not going to happen again for a long time, and this will be the least expensive it ever is. So if you want us to give you challenges, sign up right now. Okay, Shaz.pt said, I want to start online personal training, but I hate social media and haters. How do I navigate this?
It's very difficult to build an online brand and generate attention completely avoiding social media in this day and age. That's the reality. It's easy for people to connect with an individual, much easier than it is for them to connect with a brand. And so I would view your hatred of social media and not wanting haters as a cost of having an online fitness business. Similar to the cost of working at a corporation is you got to commute 45 minutes each way in rush hour traffic. You got to fake laugh at your boss's jokes. You got to participate in Pizza Wednesdays. You got to, you got to do all this stuff that stinks, that just stinks. Well, for some of us, one of the things that is unenjoyable about having an online fitness business is being on the internet and making content on the internet. What I will say is you may end up finding a niche or a platform or a segment of content creation that you do enjoy. Maybe it's not making reels, maybe a year or two down the road, you have a few thousand people on your email list. You realize I have a real knack for writing emails, and you enjoy writing emails, which isn't public facing. You're not getting immediate feedback. There's way less of the quote unquote hater stuff or the pushback. There's also an argument to be made that what you fear the most or what scares you the most, you should move towards, and that there's opportunities to grow in that. And so maybe you don't like the idea of having haters. Well, maybe moving towards that is going to make you more resilient. Maybe it's going to make you stronger. Maybe it's going to make you more articulate. Maybe it's going to make you better able to have dialogue with these individuals. Maybe it's going to open your eyes to the fact that, maybe they weren't haters. Maybe you guys just had a misunderstanding. Or maybe you realize, yeah, there are some haters out there, and I'm going to use that as fuel to push me to the next level. Bottom line, those are things that, you could say, all right, focus on blog, focus on email list, focus on non-traditional social media platforms. In this day and age, it's so hard to grow in that way that it isn't something that we would recommend. I don't think almost in any
Not
circumstance.
Solely. Definitely not solely. Yeah.
Of course, not solely. And I would understand that your time on social media could be temporary, right? Something that isn't discussed enough in this space is client retention is a way easier way to maintain business than consistent new client acquisition. So when you have these coaches not serving their clients well, taking a week to reply to an email, like doing cookie cutter programs, like doing all this BS stuff because they're spending their time hyper focused on getting as many followers as they can, making addictive reels, like making the best content possible, but they're not serving their clients. Their clients are canceling every 2, 3, 4 months. They don't have people staying on for years at a time. And so then they're trapped in this cycle of needing to make content for new clients. If you put in the 2 to 3 to 4 year pain period, and maybe it's longer, but potentially that pain period of doing something you don't want to do to grow your base, to have a full roster or a near full roster of online fitness clients, then you can be in a position where you can peel back on spending time on social media. Maybe not to zero, maybe to zero, and maybe your focus becomes email lists, for example. But maybe you can also just reduce the amount of time you spend on social media at that point in time. But bottom line, doing things you don't want to do is a cost of doing business. There are going to be costs in any line of business. And as someone who doesn't like social media also, I wouldn't trade anything for what I did or for what the downsides associated with building an online fitness business were.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know if I have anything to add on that. You lambasted that one. I don't even know if that's the right word. You went.
Sounded good.
I think there's nothing I can say that you didn't already say. It's a cost of doing business. That's it. It's a cost of doing business. Like, I don't like it either.
You've grown to not like it more recently.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I've never liked haters. Oh. I've never been like, yeah, fucking, like, there are some people who really like enjoy it because I think they just like to troll. As soon as they get a hater, they're like, I got someone mad. Like, I don't enjoy that.
You got to be very disagreeable.
Well, you have to be very disagreeable. And I think if you get someone mad, your goal is to get people mad. My goal isn't to get people mad. My goal is to tell the truth and help people. And then when people get mad, then I get pissed because it's like, I'm just trying to tell the truth and help people. And now you're fucking mad? Like, get a grip, motherfucker. Like, it's annoying. It's obnoxious. I would rather not deal with it. But I also know I'm helping a lot of people. So it's worth it at this point. And so you really have to ask, okay, if I'm not doing it, if I'm not helping people, and if I'm not dealing with the haters, then someone else is. And someone else might not be doing as good of a job as I could. They might be telling stuff that's not true. They might be selling things that are not actually good. You want to know something crazy? I sent Mike a screenshot of a conversation that I had with someone who is a very well-respected coach in this industry. This is one of the most disappointing things that's happened to me in a very long time. I'm not going to give away much information because I don't even want, if this person listens, I don't want them to know that I'm talking about them. There's a coach in the industry who's one of the most well-respected coaches in this industry, who's had, to this point, an incredible moral compass. And this person sends me a message saying that they are now promoting a supplement that they don't even like, because they said, obviously it's not like going to be like, it's not going to do anything, but also I need to make money. Literally said that to me in a text message today, this morning. And I think that was something I just needed to cathartically get off my chest, because it doesn't even relate that much to what we're talking about, other than there will be coaches out there who are doing things not for the truth, but to make money. And there's nothing wrong with making money, but when you're making money on the back of not telling the truth, or on the back of literally lying, that's a big problem. And so you have to ask yourself, would you rather, and there's no right or wrong answer to this, it's only what's right for you. Would you rather build whatever business you can build offline and not deal with the online haters, and also not help however many people you could help online? Or would you rather build a business that helps people all over the world and also deal with the haters, knowing that you're combating a lot of the negative stuff online? That's essentially the question you need to ask yourself.
Yeah. 100%.
What does proprietary blend mean in supplements?
Proprietary blend, my understanding is that it's a list of ingredients that is either not published or is published, but the quantities of how much of each of those ingredients is not published, that supplement companies used to do a lot more of, but now I would say for the last 10 years have started to be more transparent as supplement companies popped up that were more transparent. And then that kind of forced the hand of other supplement companies to match them. But yeah, it's good marketing for the supplement company, but it hurts the consumer, because they can have a list that says, there's 6 grams of this proprietary blend, and then it might list 10 ingredients, but you don't know if you're getting clinically effective doses of each of the ingredients, because you're not seeing how much of each of those individual ingredients is in the supplement.
Yep. It's a big problem. It's a very big problem, because they can just oftentimes, and I would say most times, actually, who did a great post on this recently? I actually don't know his first name. Let me check. His Instagram account is Train Bloom. I really like this guy a lot. I'm a big fan of Train Bloom. Tony from Train Bloom did a whole video explaining this, and there's a research study that came out that showed that a huge percentage of supplements that have the proprietary blend on it don't even have the ingredients they claim to have in it. A huge percentage don't even have the ingredients they claim, and then the majority of supplements don't have the actual clinically effective dose per serving. So that's why a proprietary blend is like, as soon as it says that, I just don't buy it. Not worth it. And that's one of the reasons I respect Legion so much, is they tell you exactly what and how much is in their supplements. And some people are like, but it's more expensive. I'm like, yeah, that's what you're paying for. You're paying for knowing exactly what you're getting. And they're also using higher quality supplements, and they're actually using the clinically effective doses. So you're going to pay more, because these other companies will charge you less, but you're not going to get the effective doses. So what the fuck do you want?
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. Yeah, Mike was the first person I know of in the industry to start being more transparent with ingredient lists, quantity per serving, all that information, which then led to others popping up in the coming years needing to compete with that. There's also, do you remember in like 2014 that article where someone independently tested a whole bunch of different protein powders, and a couple of the big ones were like, it said there were 25 or 30 grams of protein per serving, and there were 9, and they found sawdust in these products, like just complete filler garbage, which is another reason why, knowing the character of the CEO of a supplement company has been, at least for me, a factor in where I choose to source my supplements. And that's not true of Optimum Nutrition, because I don't know who runs that business, which has kind of been my number 2 option behind Legion over the last decade. But I do remember them scoring really well on these third-party tests.
You see the video of me doing the I'm actually really pumped. I can do a pistol squat again for the first time in a while.
Nice.
You see this? Check this out.
I did see that because I watched your story last night because I was watching stories. Yeah, look
Bro,
great.
look at that ankle mobility. You kidding me? I've been working hard on I didn't realize I lost a bunch of ankle mobility because I didn't work on it. And I just took my ankle mobility for granted when I was younger. And then I had done a bunch of training and with all the jiu-jitsu. I just hadn't directly worked on ankle mobility. And my ankle mobility was fine. But to be able to do a pistol squat that's like, I would call it like elite high level ankle mobility. And I lost that. And so I was literally getting jammed up in my ankle in the last few inches of the pistol squat for several months. And
on both legs? On both legs?
On both legs. Yeah, on both legs. Hip mobility was fine. Lumbar mobility fine. T-spine mobility was fine. But my ankle was jamming me up.
Do you think it was just a lack of focus on it for many years, or did you ever have injuries to your ankles?
I did have injuries to my ankles, but those didn't do it because I was still able to do the pistol squat post those injuries. Those injuries were when I was like 16, 17, 18 in wrestling. I broke both my ankles.
Really?
But, yeah, it was really bad. It was bad. I broke one ankle.
Was that at wrestling, or was that when you fought those guys outside of Dunkin' Donuts?
No, I didn't get injured during that fight. I got injured at wrestling.
Okay.
And it was at KFC. But I injured my ankle wrestling, and then I had to take like 2 months off while I did PT. And on my last day of PT, I decided to go into wrestling practice, broke my other ankle.
Oh,
it was
what
awful.
a bad beat.
Yeah, it was really, really bad. But either way, I was still able to do pistol squats for years after that. I think it was just like, again, I still did ankle mobility work, but it wasn't pushing it to the end ranges, extremes, really trying to get that high level ankle mobility. And as soon as I realized, I was like, oh my God, I can't do a pistol squat anymore. I was like, I got to be able to do this. So I've been dedicating a fair amount of time to my ankle mobility. And then I was like, you know what? Let me try yesterday. I showed my wife, I was in the garage. I was doing like the foot elevated pistol because it gives your leg a little bit more room. You get a little bit extra mobility. Like you essentially, if your legs are elevated and you don't have to worry about elevating your straight leg off the ground, you have just more room to do this pistol squat without as much mobility. And she was like, I think you could do it on the ground. And I was like, I don't know. She's like, give it a shot. And I did it. And I was like, oh shit, I can do it again, which I was stoked about.
That a boy. Oh, just a quick anti-PSA. Chipotle's been absolutely brutal lately. I think I'm unfortunately going to have to go on strike for like 6 months and hope that they improve the quality of their ingredients.
I'm so glad you're finally on my team with being anti-Chipotle.
I'm not anti, but I think
you just said you're anti.
It's franchise by franchise. I'm just taking a little break. It's franchise by franchise, I believe, because the quality of the ingredients seems to differ wildly from location to location. But the 1 or 2 locations close to me have been quite brutal. A little bit in service, but mostly just in terms of the quality of the food, the freshness of the meat, the flavor in the meat. And so, yeah, unfortunately, I used to really like Chipotle. I have it less now that I'm a suburban kind of guy, but now I'm going to have it almost zero for the next 3 to 6 months.
Would you have Chick-fil-A instead?
I have this. So we bought a half a cow my family went in on. And so I've got this nice like ground beef and sweet potato or ground beef and white rice. Got a few different meals that I'm just going to make instead of eating out.
Do you notice a difference in the taste?
It's the best. It's the best ground beef I've ever eaten in my entire life. Mm-hmm.
What is is it like 80-20?
It's got to be pretty fatty. I don't even know.
So how do you account for that? You just like assume it's 80-20?
Err on the side of pretty fatty beef.
And it just tastes like, do you think there's any part of it that it's just like psychologically?
For sure. It comes from one animal. It's not like as non-hippy dippy as I try to be. There's something weird about a whole bunch of different cows getting ground up together and like, if you're saying thank you for this animal, you're not really saying that. You're saying like, thank you for these 40 different animals that I have little bits of each of them. And
yeah.
Not knowing the where the farm is, which is pretty close to my house. It's cool. But
that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's like much more sustainable. It's much more, I think that's much more, what's the right word? Ethical. I think that's, I love that. That makes me really excited. And who stores it? Do you store it at your parents' house?
We divvy it up, and then I bought a freezer, like a second freezer that goes out in our garage.
Smart.
Yeah, they do a great job. You get all different cuts of meat. Are there like 100 pounds of ground beef in the half the cow? Maybe more than that, maybe 120. But then all these different steaks and roasts and everything. So.
Oh, wow. They cut you steaks?
Yeah. Yeah. And the price per is unbelievable.
Yeah, it's wild. You save so much money.
What I actually like more is the fact that I like vegetables with red meat as a meal so much that it's increased my vegetable intake.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of vegetables do you have with red meat?
Usually they're potatoes or sweet potatoes. I like a crock pot stew. If you put some of that chunk roast in with a bunch of cut up white potatoes and a whole bunch of carrots, that's outstanding.
You're just having classic all-American meals over there.
Yeah.
Do you pay for it in one lump sum, or do you have a payment plan, or how's that work?
One lump sum. It's pretty reasonable. I think we went 4 ways on it this year, and my share was $350. So you're paying
that's it,
$1,400 for half a cow. Yeah,
that's incredible.
Yeah, it ends up obviously it differs, right? If it's like a nice cut of steak versus ground beef, it's hard to have a price per pound allocated, but it's significantly cheaper than any store.
It's also really nice, like, God forbid any black swan event, grocery store, meat's gone.
Yeah. Water's the big one there.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, because I remember during COVID, meat shelves were just bare.
Yeah.
You're good, right?
Yeah. You're like, we're not going back to the question box. We're just going to talk about prepper stuff. I feel like you put your phone down and like, you're like,
oh yeah, let's talk
I know
about
where we're going with this episode.
Yeah. Is that it? Why, are we done?
No, let's keep the questions going. I felt like we were getting in a real groove.
At the gym, I saw someone doing battle ropes while standing on the flat side of a Bosu ball. What do you think?
Not something that I program personally.
Why not? Seems super functional. We're always on a wobbly ball.
A wobbly ball with
around.
A couple of ropes, just having them go up and down as fast as you can. Not aligned with any of my clients' goals that I can remember in my career.
But doesn't it help you better with fat loss?
That is, yes, you do burn calories by doing that. And there are many other ways to burn calories as well. Not to mention that calorie expenditure is very low on my list of things to focus on with fat loss clients relative to building good habits around nutrition, sleep, stress management, etc. And further, if I was going to focus on creating a bit of additional calorie expenditure, I would do something 1, more enjoyable, 2, less risky, 3, more productive. Yeah.
Dude, not working out to burn calories is the biggest unlock of the 21st century.
Oh, I like that.
Bro, the biggest unlock. And I say that because the first part of my youth in training is so much of it was to burn calories. And like, man, it's so funny because you just said it so nonchalantly. Burning calories is literally 0% of the reason why I work out and how I program my clients to work out. It's
100%.
0.
100%. Yep.
It is literally 0. I might have to make a video on this. It is such a stupid thing.
Bro, tag me. Make that video and tag me.
You want to collab with me? Do a collaboration?
Nah, I just want to tag. But I'd do a collab if you're going to, but I'd take a tag.
But all right. We'll see.
I'll do either.
Listen, there's so many other things to work out for. And never mind like how little of an impact it actually has on fat loss.
Mm-hmm.
But that isn't even the biggest part for me. The major thing is there are so many other things to work out for.
Mm-hmm.
And if you spend so much time working out just to burn calories, then you will not do things that actually will improve your life, that will improve your performance, because those things don't burn as many calories in the moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
you want to burn more calories. Yeah, you run, you whatever, like you just try and do as hard cardio as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You do
or
burpees.
go do a nonsense class that has no progressive overload, no direction, no strategy, high injury risk, like no rest time, and you just exert yourself as hard as you can for 60 minutes. Great. Super unproductive. Doesn't even burn that many calories.
Yeah. Like I like training for skill. I think that for me is where I get the most fun, like getting like the pistol squat or the splits or a max deadlift or a chin up, training for a skill. And I think like that to me is, and that's my bias, but that's like the best kind of training.
But I would also say that you're still training for a skill if you're training to build muscle.
Yes, agreed.
If you're doing it properly, like improving your incline bench press technique by 1%, which it's not going to pay a dividend in terms of how much muscle you build, but it's going to pay a dividend in terms of injury reduction. And it's like the upward spiral of getting better at something.
Yeah, correct.
Skills are important.
Yeah. I think and I think realistically that I don't generally like the term functional training, because it's just whatever is functional is related to what you do on a daily basis, but like whatever is it's more related to your goal than what you do in a daily life. And people are like, oh yeah, like standing on a Bosu ball is functional. It's like you're never on a wobbly surface in real life anyway, so it's not actually functional. I like it. I think more like instead of functional training, I'd probably prefer the term like capability training. Like you do something to make you more capable. And capable in any circumstance. And building muscle, that's capability training. Building strength, that's capability training. Improving your mobility, that's capability training. I think we need to make capability training great again is what we need to do. We need to not just bring it back. We need to bring it. We need to
start it.
Arrive it. We need to introduce it to the world. Capability training.
There's something else that's interesting here on top of this, which is your relationship with exercise is so much better when your focus is not on calorie expenditure. Because when your focus is on calorie expenditure, like the enjoyment factor goes down, which is going to reduce adherence. You start like convoluting how much you ate with how hard you should work out. I've never related those two in my entire life because I don't use exercise as a form of punishment. If I eat a whole pizza one night, I'm still going to train the next day because I have a workout scheduled for the next day, but I'm not going to go extra hard and do extra cardio to make up for the night before. I'm going to get back on the wagon the next day. Nutrition and exercise are separate in terms of what they do for fat loss.
Separate but equal.
Yeah, this is going to be quite the 4 years. We got a Q&A right now. We have a sale that is going to end very soon for the Fitness Business Mentorship. If you have not applied, you can save $500 on the initiation fee. Black Friday sale. Apply now. The website is fitnessbusinessmentorship.com. Apply on that home screen. Link in show notes. Episode 200. Wait, this might have been episode 200.
Was this 200?
It was either 200 or next week's 200. Either way.
Dude, I think it's 200. Episode 199 plus 200 in the
Let's go.
corner.
Shout out to the OGs. And if you listened since episode 1, we love you. And if you just jumped on the bandwagon last week, great
Welcome
to have
to
you.
the party. See ya.